And I can see a world that's waiting just for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, where no one else has gone before, and it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world would be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build, every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things that I've compiled, all designed to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, they can call us crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, a million colors fill my head. A million dreams are all it's gonna take. I think of what the world would be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams of the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong. Just say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see. I close my eyes to see.
'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake.
Million dreams, a million dreams.
I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams of the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Welcome to CSLDallas, where our purpose is to be radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, and transform lives. Your life, my life. And this talk today that you're going to hear from Rev Karen is one of the best that she's ever given, and we want to reprise it today for you. You are in for a massive treat. Music and message. Welcome. We're happy you're here.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Inviting you now to go within with me into that deep and quiet place, that peaceful place within, that place that already knows that there is an infinite power and presence in life that is forever pouring itself into creation. The impulse that causes the rain to fall and the sun to shine, the flowers to grow, and for each one of us to be all that we can be. This is that which moves in all of creation. And it blesses all of creation with all of itself, all of the life and strength, abundance, wholeness, joy, beauty, order. This is being showered into creation right now. And as I know this is the truth, I know that this is the truth for myself and for each one of us. Every one of us divinely inheriting this beauty, this joy, this overflowing abundance. We are blessed with the very presence of life as the truth of our being, in the deepest recesses of our soul, in the impulse of our heart, in the consciousness and in our minds, opening up to all the blessings. Today, I notice every blessing. I speak those blessings into being, and I recognize how blessed I am, how blessed we are, how blessed all of creation is. In that blessing, I grow that which is good for each of us, right here, right now, in every possible way, because I know that we are so blessed. Grateful to know this truth, regardless of any situation or circumstance. I release any fear or doubt or worry or concern. I affirm that we are blessed. I affirm that creation is blessed. I affirm this nation is blessed. I affirm the planet is blessed. I affirm each and every person, regardless of any situation, is in fact blessed by the very presence and power of life itself. And that it pours itself into each life in beauty and joy and abundance. This I affirm, this I declare, this I accept. This is the truth, because I know we are so blessed, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so
Welcome to Adventures in Spirit, our AIS 2021 campaign, Zoom to Prosperity, Be Your Superpower. My name is Michael Brundy, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the campaign. And the other co-chair is Leah Glacier, who's not able to be with us today, but she's here in spirit. I want you to know that our AIS committee is made of 12 CSLDallas members, committed members. And what these members do is we meet every week for 10 weeks, and all we do is we just pray. We pray for your abundance, your prosperity, your individual abundance, your individual prosperity, as well as the prosperity and the abundance for the whole entire community. We do this because we know and we understand the laws that govern prosperity and abundance. And we also know that if we're all praying for you individually, then that helps us as a community. So one of the things that Leah and I have been doing each Sunday has been explaining to you and sharing with you the priorities that we have for 2021. One of our highest priorities is just that we're going to think outside the box. And if you've been on our list, you've gotten one of these in the mail. It says Zoom to Prosperity. And within this folder, it tells you everything you might want to know about our AIS campaign. And one of the things that it really tells you and focuses on is the priorities. Well, Leah and I have been telling you about priorities each week. And this week, I want to tell you about a few more. One is that we want to develop offerings beyond the Science of Mind courses that focus on biblical teachings from Science of Mind perspective and spiritual teachings using scientific support rather than just religious language. And then we also want to develop and implement a marketing strategy to deploy our mystic teachings and spirituality that's grounded around to other people. Now, I remember when we first were redoing the place here, I thought that we'd one day have a sign over there at the tollway saying, come to CSLDallas. This is a great place for you to be. But since we're going through all this COVID stuff, a lot of us aren't coming to CSLDallas. So instead, we're going to be thinking outside the box, seeing what other kind of ways that we can develop, other kind of marketing strategies. And then finally, we're going to publish and download spiritual inspiration as free pamphlets and videos, as well as purchasable ebooks and e-courses. All different ways that we can serve not only our community, but serve the people that are around us, serving CSLDallas. Now, it's really good to not just hear from me about why we do all these great things and why it's important for you to give to CSLDallas, but I want you to hear from one of our members, one of our generous giving members. And this guy is going to tell you why he gives and why he supports the CSLDallas, Tariq Rogers.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the introduction. So, first of all, I am trained originally as an engineer, so you're going to have to forgive me as some of my analogies kind of go towards the concepts of scientific and system-related concepts. So with that, I kind of want to speak about how I give to, why I give to CSLDallas on a regular basis is because, one, I believe that money is just a vessel of energy. It is really just a container that is holding energy. And for me to give that on a constant basis is for me to invite continuous positive flow in, through, and around me. So for that reason is the primary reason why I continue to give on a committed basis. Why do I do it on a weekly basis? I do it on a weekly basis because it keeps me in the flow. It keeps me in a constant state of generosity. It keeps me always having a moment to pause, to think about why I am giving, and to remember and take that moment to give thanks for the ability to give and to be part of this continuous giving mindset concept. One of the reasons I commit because with me personally, I have a high degree of responsibility. I also like to publicly commit, and when I do that, it creates a vacuum. And when I give, it creates the vacuum, a very intentional vacuum, which I want to very intentionally fill with positive energy. That commitment, that public commitment, and that responsibility creates action. It just creates opportunities for action. It's not saying exactly what I expect to have flow through me, but there is a general sense that there will be continuous positivity that flows through me. And I will speak to some of those beautiful experiences and realizations that I have had of the opportunities that have flowed through me because of my full practice of generous giving and living in thanks and gratitude and so on and so forth, all the other practices and laws that we know and become familiar with here at CSL Dallas. That when I create that public commitment, there's action that happens. All sorts of things. I just all of a sudden run across whatever is the next opportunity that is going to create extra prosperity personally for me, whether that's financially, happiness, love, joy. It just comes in so many ways. One of the things that I really speak to, or what that really connects with me, is, you want to hear about those TSRW moments. And you want to be able to tie exactly, I gave this much this month and it multiplied and became this much the next month or whatever else. I can't give any of those one-to-one relationships. But I can tell you, in my time since being here at CSL Dallas and committing to being a generous giver, I'm just going to give you a list of some of the amazing things that have happened to me. First of all, I was working for a Fortune 500 company as a program manager. Within a couple months, I stated that I needed to have a much greater role. And because I stated that to the universe, I was given the opportunity at the drop of a hat, seemingly out of nowhere. The plant manager said he's retiring from that role and invited me to become the plant manager for that role. It was absolutely unbelievable to become a plant manager and business unit manager. What was actually even more amazing was that I did not feel that was a role that I was going to take permanently, and to give that up, quote unquote, to invite other opportunity that came that resonated more with me. And with that, recently I can speak to some of the opportunities I've had to essentially really keep the role that I have and have another role where I am doubling my income, and it fits a lot better with my values. And I mean literally doubling my income. This is just amazing stuff that has just happened. That's part of the knowing the world, the universe is abundant and limitless, and there's not only one path. I remember speaking with a couple of spiritual advisors, and they told me whatever you choose is what's right, and you don't have to feel like you're giving up something in order to reach what really resonates more with you. One of the other great opportunities I had is I've just had the opportunity of getting married. This is someone that I met while I've been here at CSL Dallas, not directly at CSL Dallas, but this is someone that matches with me with spiritually and values, and gives me the drive, works with me on the equal level of drive. We are very much equally yoked there. It is someone that has helped me advance me spiritually, personally, physically. It's just been an absolutely amazing experience. So these are just a few of these things that I can state have really worked. I'll speak on one more. One more was in engaging and getting engaged to my wife, now my wife. I had the opportunity of getting just blessed with a ring that was twice the value of what I actually paid for, because I lived in compassion and grace with some of the troubles that the jeweler was having. And it was just graced and given to me. I believe all these things happen. One, because yes, I give, I tithe. I tithe my time, I tithe my effort, I tithe my service. It is not only even here just at CSL, but with all other kind of social impact opportunities I have. I believe in staying in circulation, and those are the reasons why I continue to give, not because I can give a one-on-one relationship, but because I know my life has been so much blessed, so much more blessed since being part of CSL Dallas and being part of the giving here at CSL Dallas. And with this, I implore you to join me in all the happiness that I've had in being part of this circulation, this world of circulation. So I thank you, and I look forward to you joining me in being a generous giver.
Thanks, Tariq. Now, there's an example of what happens at CSL Dallas, and that's why we as the AIS campaign committee, that's why when we pray for you individually, we know that it impacts the whole church. It impacts CSL Dallas, because if you're prosperous, then you're going to share more with us. Now, I don't want to leave a false impression with you as if CSL Dallas is not doing well. Let me tell you, I've been here a long time, and I've been on the nominating core as well as the core council. And I can tell you that the money that's given to CSL Dallas is the money that's budgeted. It's the money that's actually spent. And I've seen it happen year after year after year. Whatever goal we set, we always reach that, and we do more. And this has even been a good year, even in the midst of COVID-19. People still continue to give. I know that personally because last night I gave some more money. So I know that people are still giving, even in the midst of this pandemic. But that's not saying that we don't need you to give to this campaign for 2021. We've had a great 2020, even though everything looked topsy-turvy, and we want to have a great 2021, and that depends on you giving, you sharing your prosperity with CSL Dallas. Every pledge means something. Every pledge counts. It doesn't matter if you only have $1 to give now or if you have $100,000 to give. We will take whatever you have, and we'll be glad to spend it wisely. But just like voting, that's the thing going on right now is voting. Just like everyone's vote counts, and you don't want to just stop because early voting, you want to continue to give up until the last minute. And with CSL Dallas, we're even better than voting. You can give and give and give, even give after the campaign if you want. So what I want you to do is go to csldallas.org/pledge and fill out your pledge card right now. Give what you have to give right now. No pledge is too small. No pledge is too big. Whether you have $1, whether you have $100, $100,000, it doesn't matter. We will take it, and we will be good stewards of all that you give us. Give to CSL Dallas. Now, the other thing I know is that when we have collective goals, joint goals, when we all set goals together, we're much more likely to make it. That's why with the committee, that's why we all are praying for you. That's why we're setting the goals and praying as a group, because it helps us. So goals are important, and collective goals are important. And our goal for the AIS campaign is extremely important. Our goal is $947,000, 250 pledges, and more. Did you hear me? $947,000, 250 pledges, and more. Now, you're not here with me because normally what we would do, we would all say it 3 times. So now I've said it 2 times. I'm going to say it one more time. And I want you to see if I say it with gusto and enthusiasm so it inspires you to go out there and give now, okay? Our goal is $947,000, 250 pledges, and more. So zoom to prosperity, exercise your own superpower, and support the CSL Dallas AIS 2021 campaign. Thank you. I'm Michael Brundy.
I stand in the silence, deafened by the echoes of the truth that flow from this knowing, a collection of the evidence and proof to trust in creation as itself through me aligns, to know that my wanting more is selfishly divine. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am. Church or a temple, on the ocean or a mountain kissed with snow, so many paths to God. For you are the only place to go, a being with no circumference, whose center is everywhere, who asks for us only to receive the gifts it's longing to share. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am diving from the cliffs of circumstance to swim in your great abundance. I will not fight the current, but be carried into joy. I know I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. It's what's leading me, pushing me, urging me on. I am seeking my source, and my God is my source. It's my joy and my voice and my life-giving force. I am seeking my God. I am seeking my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. It's what's leading me, pushing me, urging me on. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am.
Man, I love this. Seeking my good. So it's one of my favorite New Thought songs. So thank you for singing that. And I love it, you know, seeking my good, and my good is my God. I mean, really, does it get any clearer than that? Oh, okay. All right. So, you know, it's, as Emerson says, it's a being with no circumference, whose center is everywhere. I love how in the line that says, I'm diving from the cliffs of circumstance, i.e. conditions, all this stuff out here, to swim in your great abundance. And that's what we're talking about today. At least I am. I don't know about y'all. Throughout most of our life, I dare say all of our life, we've bought into the biggest bunch of hooey we could have, for the sake of the outpicturing of our own life. It probably didn't start, you know, before we were toddling and then crawling and maybe perhaps waddling. But when we started walking, it started, and we bought into this hooey that there is a God outside of us. We've bought into it. We've been working with it. At least I am. Maybe it's just me. And it's this thing called duality. And we've bought into it. So that's where we're going to begin this morning. To get our grips, our minds, our heart, our soul, you know, the spirit, soul, body of us. And to let go of this thing called duality so we can let all of our abundance grow. Okay, we're each a human individual, and we're sitting here this morning, we know that, and we're moving through the life. And yes, we're a human individual, but that's the very thing that actually limits us. Because the fact is that we are a divine individuality. That's what we are. And so anytime our mind tricks us, or someone tells us, or we buy into the hooey again, we have to come back to whatever it is for you. For me, it's the Father and I are one. The Father and I are one. To let go of this duality so that we actually know who we are. Ernest Holmes tells us that the only reason we are limited is that we have not allowed the divine within us to more completely demonstrate. God only wants us to receive. And so are we allowing this divine individuality as us to demonstrate and let it flow? So God, this eternal givingness, is here, and the gifts of God are limitless, for this is the absolute nature of God, and it is the absolute nature of us too. We are limitless, in that which wants to pour through us, that which wants to be us. And so I and Dr. Peter were both reading this book for the first time. Who's reading this book with me for the first time or reading it? Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not kidding. It's not a big book. It's not an expensive book. You've got to get this book. So Raymond Charles Barker, next to Ernest Holmes, is the master teacher of science mind. Okay? Many of us haven't read him. So this is what he says. And he just puts it out there, just like she said, like, boom! You ready? He, a minister of science and mind, wrote this. He says, this science doesn't tell you anything that you aren't already doing. It only informs you how you are doing it so you can produce what you want. Okay? I love this. This teaching, science mind, this teaching does not make you spiritual. So I'm just here to tell you, if you come here on a Sunday in order to be spiritual, don't show up anymore. Sorry. There isn't a church in the world which can make you spiritual. But he continues. If you can be made spiritual, then you aren't spiritual now. If you aren't now, you never will be. So hey, are y'all spiritual? Yes. Good. You are God's image now. Every person in the universe today is the complete operation of God. Think about that. Every person is a thinking, creative inlet and outlet of the action of infinite mind, infinite spirit, and infinite love. Wow. I had to read that several times to take in that much. Wow. And then he says, knowing this, you live accurately with precision, discernment, and specific results. You can say to one idea, no, and to the other idea, yes. They're equally important, folks. You select what you would like to have happen and reject what you do not. I and the Father are one. Right here it is. Now he continues. I really like this. You are God acting in the midst of flexible substance. Just get that on. Projecting into your experience the ideas of your own mind. Do not worry when forms go out of your world. You can produce more. Worry only when your thinking processes are confused. Okay, so I love this. We are in the midst of this flexible substance, and I liken it to the limitless Play-Doh. Come on, get your limitless Play-Doh on. It's gooey. It's all around us. It's Play-Doh. And what do we get to do with Play-Doh? We get to play with it. We get to form what we want. We don't have to judge whether it looks good or not. We don't go, well, I didn't make that little bunny in, 3 seconds. It took me 30. Oh my gosh, not good. We can just mash it around and move it around and be in the Play-Doh of this infinite goo. Sometimes we're afraid to go, I want to make this. I want this to happen in my life. We're afraid of it. And so we don't even attempt it. Well, folks, really, if we make a bunny and we don't want a bunny anymore, guess what we get to do? And start again. I think I'll make a turtle. Really. You are God playing with this goo. You can quote me on that. You are God playing with this goo. So now we know who we are, okay? But the next step is we got to know what we want. Got to know you want to make a bunny. And you got to have a clear vision, and you have to have the end in mind. There has to be clarity in what we want. Law don't make confusion. Have clarity in what you want in any area and aspect of your life, okay? And we must have this term that tends to be complicated. I know when I first read it in that book, there's a whole chapter on it. I'm going to read from it today. Mental equivalent. What? What is that? We have to have a clear mental equivalent of what we want. Today, I am using a metaphor. This is your mental equivalent. I'm clear that I want this spool. It represents whatever you want, okay? So just get clear on something perhaps you want. Now, you can go from the macro, and you can say, well, I just want a job that pays me good. Or you can go, oh no, I want a job where I love to be around everybody and they love me and they think I'm great and I'm a sharp dresser and they pay me more money than I can actually accept into my checking account and I'm only going to work 4 hours a week and, play with your goo. Or you could say, there's nothing wrong. I want a job and I want it right now. And you might get $4 an hour. It's okay. But you basically have to conceive of the ultimate. This is a mental equivalent. It's no more than conceive of the ultimate idea for you. No one else. It's your life. It's your goo. So, the other thing is, when we think of this, we never have to focus on the process. We don't have to go, well, in order to get that job, I've got to, I better at least know 9 headhunters, and I got to put at least 200 resumes out, and I've got to do this, and I've got to wear the blue shirt and the black pants, and I have to show up at Thursday at 10 a.m. to make sure that this and that. And we are so caught up in the process, we have to get clear on this is what I want. This is my ultimate idea of what I want. You with me? Good. So, for me, when I did this once, of course, it wasn't the only time I did this in my life, I was not happy in my current job. I sort of figured out I wasn't ever going to be happy in that job. I just was like, I'm gonna say no, and I'm going to go to a yes. And I got clear on what I wanted in sort of the macro and the micro. And I said, well, I want to go to a medical device startup because I was in medical device sales. I want to hit a startup where there's less than 20 people. I want to be on the ground floor. I want it to be in its marketplace, the best product, have a great name. And I want to have fun with the people that I work with. I want them to let me be myself, and and it's okay if I have to grow through the ranks, but I want unlimited income potential, no ceiling, okay? So now y'all know my former profession. And I was like, that is what I want. Well, bam, I got hired by this company called Game Ready, which had the best cold and compression device in the marketplace, $3,000 bucket of ice, and it squeezes your knee. Y'all get that? And I was employee number 7, and it was in Berkeley, California, and it was hip, and it was cool, and it was all about culture, and yada, 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 yada. Okay? So I had my idea. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I did it. Okay? So we have to have clarity, and we have to have a clear vision, and we do not need to know the how it's going to work. We just let it go. And it shall unfold. So, once you have the clarity of your desired outcome and you know what it is that you want in this goo, your desired experience, the next step that must occur, and I mean must, is we each must convince our own mind that it's already there. I got the spool. It's real. It's here. It's not a figment of my imagination, and we must believe. We must believe. And so it is not belief based upon the surface level, our little surface consciousness. We are talking subconscious, full embodiment belief. We must believe that it is already, the bunny's here. The spool is here. It is here. So from the chapter on mental equivalence in the Science Mind textbook, if you don't have that either, I'm going to share with you what Ernest Holmes says. And we hear this a lot from the master teacher. As ye believe, it shall be done unto you. The whole teaching of Jesus was based on the theory that we are surrounded by an intelligent law, which does unto each as he believes. He implied the necessity of faith, conviction, and acceptance. Faith, conviction, acceptance. This is the same as saying it must be measured out to us according to our own measuring. It must be measured out to us according to our own measuring. We must not only believe, we must know that our belief measures the extent and degree of our blessing. If our belief is limited, only a little can come to us because that is as we believe. We call this the law of mental equivalence. There you are. So, whatever the degree of our inward conviction is what we will direct outwardly through our consciousness. So whatever we inwardly believe shows up like a mirror. A mirror. As within, so without. We don't stand in front of a typical mirror and we stand there and I'm 4 times bigger or 2 times smaller. Okay, I know what y'all are thinking. But it's totally mirrored exactly as we are in front of it. It's the same in which the way this law of mental equivalent works. So not only must we have a mental equivalent of the thing we desire, but we must have unwavering faith, conviction, and acceptance. Faith, conviction, and acceptance of that very thing. So unwavering faith is this mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea, it's just so convinced that any contradiction to that is unthinkable, unacceptable. So, when I took this job with Game Ready, I had a mental equivalent of one of the key things in wanting this job was to have unlimited earning potentials. Just as I got started and just as I learned the product and just as I thought I was ready to really launch, 2007, 2008, 2009. Y'all remember those years? There was something going on then, right? Bam! It just tanked. Everywhere you turned on the news, everything, it was like the economy is awful. There was all this awfulness. It was like, everything was shrinking monetarily. I'm like, I'm going to make the most money I've ever made in my life. And it's like, I had unwavering faith. Just so happened in 2007, in January of that year, I stepped into a Science of Mind community. Any accident? That I learned unwavering faith, mental equivalence, it's called foundations. I put it all to a test, I put it all to work, and it didn't matter what was going on outside of me. I mean to tell you, I did not get promoted and I did not change jobs, and I made 2 to 3 times what I could ever imagine. I remember one quarter, we had this, you always have a quota, and I had salespeople by that time, and they were just like, wasn't going to make it. I didn't care. I had unwavering faith. I had that mental equivalent. The last week of the quarter, somehow, miraculously, $500,000 came in sales. We busted through the quota. I got a nice $300 bottle of champagne from the chairman of the board. And that year 2, I made, based upon what they were supposed to pay me, they couldn't pay me all that they actually owed me. And I had to negotiate what I would accept. Because I put these principles to work to unleash my financial abundance in my life. However, what happened is, with that unwavering faith, I had to have a mental equivalent. Excuse me for a second. And I had to grow that mental equivalent. And I had to stay vigilant and keep that vision and hold that mental equivalent so I could go from there to there. I'm telling you, I'm no different than you. I've taken the same classes that are offered to you. I've taken them, and I've put them to work. So, this is how I did this. Ooh. He goes on to say, in mental equivalence, right after that, he says, how much life can any person experience? As much as he or she can embody. There is nothing fatalistic. This is the great news. There is nothing fatalistic about this. We are so constituted that we can continuously increase our embodiment. All right? We grow in grace, as it were. We grow in power. And theoretically, there should be no limit to the growth. Stomping for emphasis. We can only have what we can take. God is the eternal givingness. The gifts of God are limitless, for this is the nature of God. God is our source. I love this out of Raymond's book. Jesus said, quote, give us this day our daily bread. How many have heard that all their life? Give us this day our daily bread. He told his followers that they would receive as much bread as they expected. God is our source. Give us this day our daily bread. We can receive that bread as much as we expect. But the key is, he did not say what the size of the loaf is. Excuse me a second. Where'd my spool go? I don't care. Jesus did not say what the size of the loaf is, or how many loaves you can eat, or have, or share, or give away. How do you think he made the loaves for 5,000? He's no different than we are. Oh, I really trust that something is waking up in each and every one of us, including me in this moment. He never, ever said the size of the loaf, what it had to look like, how many loaves you can receive. So we grow in our abundance. And again, how do we, because we're here, how can we go from, and guess what? There are a dozen outside. There's not just one of these. Go look at them. Well, the truth is, Sunday mornings are meant for inspiration. Sunday mornings are meant for community, inspiration, classes, music, pick me up. But to move and to grow our abundance in all areas of our lives, classes takes us from here to here to here. And not just taking them and not just being there and say, I took a class, but to read it, discern it, ask questions about it, meddle with it, go, what is he talking about, this mental equivalent? Practice it, be with it, because we can play in this goo as much as we want. So I am insisting, for the sake of your life, not mine, and get in another class. If you're wondering why what you're hearing from us is not manifesting, get in a class. We can build our belief. We can build our faith. We can build our acceptance. And then the law must mirror back to us what we believe. It absolutely must. There is not a single God, divine, individuality, self that is left out. Trust me. So it doesn't happen on its own. How many people can build the muscle in their body without actually lifting weights, going to a gym, hiring a personal trainer, walking, running, doing something to build it? It just doesn't. I know there's some contraption out there that you put on your waist and it's supposed to go. I doubt that works. We have to build it. And the moment we stop, what happens? Atrophy. But here's the great news. The moment you pick up that weight again, it could be 2 years, 3 years later. Man, is it quick to come back, isn't it? So if you've sort of fallen off your muscle building, meaning building consciousness, understanding that you are the most magnificent individualized expression of the one that it has ever shown up as, makes me weep how beautiful you each are. Then get in a class. This is the time when we get to bring the biggest gifts that we can bring to this community right here and right now. So I invite you to give and to not limit your giving. Truly, we live in an abundant life, and when we give from that overflow, or that knowing that we are living in the overflow comes. We are so grateful to every single person that gives to this community so that we continue to thrive and bring spiritual inspiration for you. So you can do this by going to CSLDallas.org, donate now. You can also text give. The number is on your screen. And or if you are watching on Facebook Live, you can hit donate now. This is the time when we give to one another fully, completely, and generously. Thank you. So there is something coming up on the second Thursday of November, November 10th. Because of the popular demand, I am bringing back the metaphysical teachings of Jesus, but this time on the topic of an abundant life. The teachings of Jesus are all about prosperity and abundance, and You don't want to miss this. 6 weeks, Thursday night, you've got to register. I'll see you there. Tell your friends, because we are here to live that abundant life.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, so don't miss it.
Yes, and speaking of abundance of events and opportunities for you to stay spiritually connected to us and with each other. You can find all the info at our website, CSLDallas.org. Get connected today with us.
And speaking of staying connected, after the celebration today, you can jump over into the practitioner room and you can stay connected with Spirit, with yourself, and with your truth. They will meet with you one-on-one in a private breakout room, do spiritual mind treatment with you, speak to you about applying spiritual principles to whatever issue you are concerned about or whatever it is that you want to create and grow abundantly in your life. So take advantage of the practitioner room. And so now we're going to sing it out. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
I got up this morning singing.
God is so good.
My God is so good to me.
Feeling good down in my soul, yeah.
God is so good.
I am feeling good down in my soul, yeah.
God is so good.
Feeling good down in my soul, yeah.
God is so good.
Well, my God is so good to me.
In my time of trouble, I know.
God is so good.
In my time of trouble, I know.
God is so good.
Oh, in my time of trouble, I know.
God is so good.
Oh, my God is so good to me.
And in my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
In my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
Well, in my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
My God is so good to me.
When the day is over, I'm singing.
God is so good.
When the day is over, I'm singing.
God is so good.
Oh, when the day is over, I'm singing.
God is so good.
My God is so good to me.
Well, every day and everywhere.
God is so good.
Well, every day and every way.
God is so
Don't
good.
you know every day and every way.